you. Hope you're well. My name is Nikki DeForest. Welcome to part 2 of my Finding Your Soul Purpose series, Follow Your Intuition. If you're new to the series, I will put a link to my playlist in the video description box, and the series started as a blog post. So I will actually also link to my blog and link to a page that's got all the links that relate to this Finding Your Soul Purpose series. One-stop shopping, easy peasy. I'll put that in the video description as well. For years, I looked for my soul purpose. Years. I knew it was not in my old career in finance and accounting. I knew it wasn't there, but to get through the tough times, I attached some purpose to it. I found purpose there for myself. It helped for a while, but as my spiritual awakening started, that now I see as a full-on quest to find my soul purpose. Eventually, my soul's purposes, plural, multiple purposes, began to emerge through my spiritual awakening. That said, though, nothing that I'm going to share here in this whole series is specific to a spiritual awakening. These are things that you can do on your spiritual path, not on a spiritual path. Maybe some are more spiritual than others, but really, you don't have to be experiencing a spiritual awakening to find your soul purpose. Soul purposes, plural. But during my spiritual awakening, I set the intention to live by my intuition, to live intuitively in every aspect of my life. And it is still how I live my life today. Some of the work that I had to do to live intuitively was kind of dealing with the inner critic that we all have and learning how to clear my mind. And my spiritual practices served that, whether it was meditation or mindfulness or just learning how to deal with my inner critic. All of it served to help me hear my intuition far more clearly. Learning to quiet the inner noise, the inner chaos, the inner critic will always serve to help you hear your intuition better. And once that inner noise was quieted, that's when my clear senses started to develop. And I'm not anyone special. I know that we all have maybe the opportunity. Yep, that's a twiggle. More on that later. We all have the opportunity to develop our clear senses, and part of that is quieting the inner noise and allow them to come forward. And I talk about clear senses here along with intuition because it's the clear senses and the intuition combined are our communication, our language of our soul. Our intuition is our soul's language. Another twiggle, which is also communication with my soul. As I realized that my intuition and all my clear senses and all that is actually connected to my soul and how my soul communicates with me, that's when that's when things started really getting interesting. Because one day while I was feeling very connected to my intuition, I was on my cushion, sitting at my altar, feeling very open and connected. And I asked my intuition, what does a yes feel like? And that's where these twiggles come in. So I call it a twiggle because it's a twitch and a wiggle. And when I asked my intuition, my soul, what a yes felt like, that's what she delivered to me. She's very active as we're talking about these topics, so you'll probably see me twiggle a lot in this, but that's a yes. That's a yes. That's an affirmation. That's a confirmation. Yes. And that was really that's how I started connecting with my soul, and connecting with my soul purpose was to really connect and create that language between each other so that we could more freely communicate. So I knew what a yes sounded like. I needed to learn what a no sounded like as well, or felt like. I can't remember the exact intention that I used, but it was like, what does a yes feel like? What does a no feel like? So when I asked what a no felt like that day on my cushion, I felt my inner energy, my inner world just go very still, just for a moment. Stillness is a no. Non-reactivity is a no. Reactivity is yes. Non-reactivity was a no. That was for me. You might want to set a different intention. Maybe you're more clairaudient, or maybe you're not sure what your clairsenses are, so you want to ask about those. Our soul is here to serve us on our Twiggle. Yes, our soul is here to serve us on our path. So part of what we're doing is creating this language, creating the communication, creating the connection with our soul so that we can live this life of purpose, our soul's purpose. So once we created that common language, it was so much easier to receive guidance, especially in the beginning when I didn't know necessarily. I wasn't super clear yet on what guidance looked or sounded like or felt like. I could ask, is this guidance? And then I would receive a yes or a no. You notice when I asked that question out loud, there was no reactivity. There was no twiggle. It was a no, because I was not receiving guidance. It's really about, even if you use these exact words that I've shared with you, or you use your own language, your own way to communicate, it's our soul's purpose. So connecting with and following our intuition, following the language of our soul, moving forward for guidance, is critical. It's key. And with that guidance, we started going to places I never imagined or remembered. My soul, my intuition started to guide me to the things that I used to love when I was young. It started guiding me into places that I didn't understand. Sometimes it felt like we were doing the opposite of everything, which probably was designed and aligned because my prior life and my career in finance and accounting was ego driven. It was ego based. It wasn't part of my soul purpose. So I guess you kind of have to do the opposite to move forward in a soul based thing. At least I did. If you are far from living your life purpose like I was, there will be changes and shifts and adjustments along this path. It helps to think of it as the long game. Oops, sorry. It helps to think of it as a long game. We're not going to like shift overnight and boom, there's our soul purpose. It might take a little longer. It might take building that trust, building that communication, building that faith that this is the right direction for us. But it builds upon, like each step builds upon the last, the prior steps even. So, oh yeah, I started remembering what I loved to do prior to my decades-long career, accounting and finance. I started to remember that I loved doing things. I loved taking walks in the morning. I loved writing. And I remembered that by following my intuition. Had I not followed my intuition, I don't know where I'd be right now even. So one of the first big things I can remember doing, and maybe in the beginning I didn't recognize it. I didn't have awareness that it was intuitively guided. That's yes. I did not have awareness that I was being intuitively guided to create this blog that I started probably in the very end of August in 2020. I started writing my blog. At the time, I had no idea it was part of my soul purpose. There she goes again. She's very active today. I set the intention to co-create this video with my soul, with my intuition, guidance. So my energy is very active, and this is what it looks like. I'll just start twiggling. It just means that my soul is happy, and that we're on the right path. And this is what it means when you connect with your intuition and connect with your soul. This is the help we get on that path. So I was guided to write the blog, and at first I was like, what what am I doing? It's like polar opposite from accounting and finance to writing. But it was something I just had to do. I knew I had wisdom to share, and I had to. I just had to. That's what it felt like at the time, intuitively, or that's what it felt like at the time, even though I didn't know it was intuitive yet. Let's put it that way. And even though it felt funny to be guided towards writing, it came up in a couple different ways for me. When I received my first natal chart reading, that was one of the things that I was left with. I was told to trust and write. So writing, it came up for me in my natal chart reading. And then as I really started to dig in and really started to kind of tap into my memory, I remember winning or receiving an award for a short story competition when I was in grade school. I was writing short stories that won little, school awards in grade school. I don't remember what grade, third grade maybe. And then I started thinking, oh yeah, that continued though, because even though I had been in finance and accounting forever, I was writing documents. I was writing training documents. I was writing emails for bosses who didn't want to write emails. I was relied upon for writing, even though I was in this entirely different thing. So to be guided towards writing suddenly felt like, oh, okay, well, maybe this fits. Maybe this fits. I'm going to follow this and see where it goes. It has been going great. I love my blog. I invite you to join me on my blog at nikkideforest.com. So all that to say that the blueprint of my life was always there, always here, inside, in my soul, with me the whole time. Connecting with my intuition allowed my authentic self to emerge from the old stuff that my ego was trying to do to try and make things work and trying to earn the money and do the things. My authentic self began to emerge out of all of that. There will be challenges on this path. Excuse me. There will be challenges. Even when we are deeply, intuitively living our life, deeply connected to our soul and moving forward in this beautiful way, there still will be challenges, especially if you're like I was and you are far from your soul purpose. The challenges will come up. I mean, we have to leave things behind. We have to leave the old things behind and allow space for the aligned energies to come in. You can do this. You can do this. I was completely disconnected from spirituality. I didn't know anything about it. And this happened for me. So I know that you can do it. You can do this. There will be challenges. There will be growth. And growth always brings challenges because you'll be moving away from what's no longer aligned with your divine life path and soul purpose. You'll be moving away from the old and moving into the new and learning, growing, and changing and shifting. So there will be challenges. This finding your soul purpose is beautiful. And it's amazing. And the challenges are so worth it. Listen to your intuition. Allow it to guide you forward. Make sure you're setting that intention to be aligned with your soul purpose. More of that in the next upcoming video. Set the intention to be connected to your soul. Set the intention to live intuitively. Set the intention for what you want to see, your soul purpose. Set your intention for your soul purpose. Connect with your soul. Connect with your intuition. Every time you follow your intuition, you will be guided to the highest expression of you. Your authentic you, your soul guided you, your soul. the soul version of you. You are being guided closer to your soul's purpose. If not, discovering that you have already been serving your soul's purposes, some of them, because we have many. We have many. Just think of all the souls that you will connect with in your life, all the souls you touch in your lifetime. There are many purposes as we move through those connections and connect with those souls. We have many purposes. It's already likely you've lived some. Trust your intuition, follow the guidance, and trust that you are being guided towards your soul's purpose. It's all about your intention and your energy and trusting your intuition. It is an exploration of you and your soul. It is a discovery of what you two were meant to do here. What this current incarnation of you and what you're meant to be doing here. It is a discovery worth your commitment, the commitment to you, to your soul, to live that purpose. And all of that energy will be returned to you in the balance of time. And when those challenges come up, remember this. This is what I kept reminding myself of as I was moving through these changes and growth. We are souls here having this human experience. So let your soul lead the way. Let it guide you forward. It will guide you towards your purpose. So I want to leave you with one more thing. And I added this to the blog that relates to this video. They're connected. We're doing both. So I want to read this part to you. I'm going to read it straight off of my website. These are lyrics from an In Excess song from 1987, going back to the 80s with my lyrics, because these lyrics, I heard these as I was writing this blog post, and I love it. So it says, "We all have wings, but some of us don't know why." And that's all we're doing, is looking for our wings, looking for our soul purpose, finding our soul purpose. If this resonates with you, please remember to like, subscribe, maybe drop me a comment. Set the notification bell for part 3. Part 3 is so much fun. It's manifesting alignment to your soul's purpose. That's a powerful one, because when you're manifesting alignment to your soul's purpose, you get all the help you need. So grateful you're here. I love you. I love you. Be well, beautiful soul.